This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up.
Hello, everybody.
your
It's Paul
life.
Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show and Torah Life Ministries, and I am continuing to talk about healing from certain diseases. And the most popular disease, even though corneal virus and Ebola is out there, the most popular disease still is cancer. And I always like to have people on my show that have personal experience with it. And today our guest is Zach Bauer. Zach, say hello to the audience.
How's it going, guys?
And Zach recently had a situation where his wife was dealing with cancer, and he went through many different types of alternative treatments. And he has a video that he just posted talking about each of those particular types of treatments. And one of the things I recommended to Zach was Valasta's Astaxanthin. And at the time, it was highly recommended to me, but I didn't have time to experiment with yet. So Zach did try it. And he contacted me up later, and he told me he saw some positive results from it. So I wanted Zach to come on and just a little share about the testimony. If you want to see the other things that Zach has tried, I'll put a link below this video to that video he just made. And I really believe it's important, these types of videos, because there are a lot of people dealing with cancer and other diseases. And so when you watch testimonies from other people, that's how you're going to learn, or it's going to really help you, because there's going to be a lot of confusion at certain times. So Zach, share a little bit of your story about this particular product and just what your overall opinion is about this. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, let me just go ahead and say that she was diagnosed with cancer in February 1st of 2019. And for the next 10 months, we fought this tooth and nail. We did about almost 20, somewhere around 25 different alternative treatments. We tried different protocols and things like that. We also went through some of the traditional protocols that the doctor's surgery and radiation. We did that. Basically, the only reason we did that was because there were so many testimonies out there of people dealing with this kind of aggressive cancer that she had the most benefits from doing both. And so that was kind of our battle plan. But the Valasta, this was something that Paul told me about, and told me about around 2 months before she passed, a little before that. And then I started researching it, and when I researched what Paul sent me and other things that was out there, I was blown away. I remember we were in the hospital. We had just gotten a feeding tube placed in for her because she was having trouble eating. The cancer was growing so big that she couldn't eat anymore. And so I immediately ran out and I found even some cheaper astaxanthin product that I could just start giving her then, before this got here in the mail. Anyway, we saw a benefit. However, and I explained in the video that Paul mentioned, I made some mistakes when I first started applying it, because most people just take this with a capsule, or they take it in chocolate form, and they send you capsules, vegan capsules with it, and so you can use those and take it. But she didn't have that ability to swallow anymore, so I had to mix it with her food and go into the feeding tube. And I was heating the product up so that it mixed well with her food. And I learned later that that was rendering it, pretty much not useless, but at least lessening its effect. And so after about 14 days, I called and I talked to one of the owners of Valasta, and he helped me correct some of those issues. But I did see an amazing benefit from this for her. After about another 30 days or so, all of her tumors that she was getting on her neck were pussing over. And pus is a good sign. You want pus because pus is the direct result of the white blood cells in your body, the ninjas, the special forces of your body, who are going out and seeking and destroying things that ought not be there. And that's what the Valasta does. The Valasta adds a molecule, it's called a PD-1 blocker, to the cancer that has a PD-1 molecule attached to it. And that fools the white blood cell into thinking that the cancer cell is fine. So this PD-1 blocker that the algae, the astaxanthin, provides, allows that white blood cell to see the cancer for what it is and to attack it. And that pus is a direct result of that. And so we saw that one of her tumors that she had biopsied, Paul, on her neck, because they wanted to make sure this new tumor that was cancer, in fact, or this new spot was cancer, and it basically, after we started taking the astaxanthin, it crusted over, scabbed over, and then fell off. And so that was, unfortunately, it was towards the end of her life. We had gone through so many other treatments, and she was in such pain that the morphine and the oxy and all the things that she was on was really just basically shutting her body down, and we couldn't we couldn't recover. But I saw the benefits. I know it works. My family has used this in other ways too. We can talk about that if you want.
Absolutely, I want to, because that's what impressed me also, is not only the benefits that you saw, but you said you're taking it, your children are taking it, and you're going to continue to take it. And right away I got it. I started taking it and I give it to my children as well. So yeah, tell us about the other benefits that you've seen, and also.
Yeah, so I've had for years this acne on my back and on the small of my back, and it's gone. I started taking this when Jamie was taking it too, and it's gone. My father-in-law has had psoriasis for years, all in his legs and everything. It's very painful, very scratchy, itchy, bleeding, and stuff like that. And so it's very painful for him. And he started taking this. And the last time he went to the VA, because he's a veteran, the doctor asked him if he wanted any more psoriasis cream. And he told the doctor, nope, I threw it away. I'm done. I'm cured. And the doctor's like, what? And he told him because every time you order the Valasta, they send you like a brochure. And so he gave him one of the brochures because he knew the doctor was going to ask. And the doctor just thought he was crazy. But yeah, he doesn't need it anymore. The psoriasis is completely gone.
Sure. Now I'm sure many people are wondering what exactly is Valasta, and basically it's an algae, and when algae gets stressed, it turns red. And in nature, it's to protect the pond or the lake where it is. And there are animals that live in that area that consume this algae. And Sam Shepard, the fellow who runs this company, Valasta, he found there are 5 common animals in nature that don't get cancer, and the thing they all had in common was they live near or most likely consume this type of algae in this stress form. So he's managed a way of Valasta to get it in this stress form and put it in a bottle. And which leads to the next question how many other companies did you research, or did you go right to Valasta?
Well, I went right to Valasta, but there are some good companies out there, the other companies, but I tell you what, though, I like Valasta because I know it's US made. I know that there's good quality control there. And it is expensive. There are some cheaper alternatives, but those alternatives usually are made in China. And so you don't know what you're getting. So, I mean, so I do like the Valasta, but there are a number of companies out there. But I like the fact that they talk to you by phone. If you have questions, they usually get back to you, and their support has been outstanding.
Well, from my experience, there aren't other good ones out there compared to this because of the patent that they have and the way they're able to extract it in its most natural form. And they literally are the only company that does it. And comparing it to other companies, I find this company the best. But what was astonishing to me is there's several companies I looked in. And if anyone gets this, I do have it on my website. I'll put the link below the video. There's an amount they recommend. And this is what was astonishing to me. 3 companies, I even knew the owners of one of the company, and I was asking them about their Astaxanthin. And they said their capsules were 2 to 4 milligrams per capsule. And I'm like, well, how many capsules do you recommend a day? And they said, well, 1. They didn't go according to the body weight or anything like this. But Valasta, it's really absolutely amazing that the people couldn't believe it when I told them this. There's each pump is 13.5 milligrams, and they're recommending a good amount up to your body weight, and even more if you have an illness. And so you're looking at 2 milligrams versus I'm taking about 75. That's a big difference. You know,
yeah, it's huge difference.
And the bottom line is the people that are taking the other ones, even with their testimonials, are getting no amount of the results they would get if they took this amount in this form. So
for me, it's more of a preventative. I'm using about 2.5 pumps per day, so in a capsule. And Sam told me that after about 60 days, your body will be saturated with it. So it takes. But if you have an illness, you definitely want to go by your body weight, and it's a lot more. To get your body as saturated as quickly as possible. And that's what we were doing with Jamie, as we were trying to get her body as saturated as quickly as possible with it. And like I said, we saw just amazing benefits with her neck and with her tumors. But it was the medicines and other things that they had really taken a toll on her body. And if I had I really truly believe, Paul, if we had started this first thing, if this was one of the first things we did first off, we would not be talking about this today.
Okay, well, you said you're taking it out currently for preventative. So, it's a good amount of money, but what would your advice be? Because probably before this whole thing even started, if I would have said to you, hey, Zach, I know about this great product, preventative, take it, you would might have been like most people, looked at the price. And even though I'm your friend, Paul, and I know what I'm talking about, you probably would have said, well, we'll see. But like, what would be your advice to people out there now I mean, not only themselves, their kids, their family, they haven't gotten a diagnosis. I mean, would you recommend them just to have this on hand and take this just for preventive measures, or?
Yeah, so right now I take it, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law take it, and my 2 kids take it. We all take it. Everyone here on the homestead takes it. And you know, Joanne, I've actually seen just a cognitive improvement with Jamie's mother, you know, with this too. So it's been amazing. I'll tell you something else that this has helped somebody with. I was talking to this woman and she has migraines. And so I started her on this. I told her about it. And I even bought her first bottle because I wanted her to try it so bad. And most people won't. But I care for her. And so I said, I'll buy you the bottle. And so I bought her the bottle. I sent it to her and she's been taking it and she hasn't had a migraine since. It's been about, I don't know, 15, 16 days since she started taking it, but she hasn't had a migraine since. And if you look it up and you do some research on astaxanthin and migraines, it's because of inflammatory responses in your head. Your head's inflamed. And this is what takes care of the inflammation.
Wow. Wow.
So if you have someone who has migraines, suffers from migraines, you know, again, there's your answer. But yeah, as a preventative, it is expensive. But, you know, if you're spending money on other supplements or other things that maybe you're not seeing a benefit from, that you're hoping that would give you better health, or especially if you suffer from any autoimmune thing, like autoimmune is the big thing. And so many people I see on Facebook, they're complaining about their autoimmune issues. Man, I don't know why you'd waste time. This is what I'd recommend, 100%.
And considering what you just said, I mean, that if maintenance after 60 days, you go into a lower amount, it really isn't that expensive. If you're only doing 2 pumps a day, it's not that expensive.
Right. Yeah. You're going to use it over a couple months. I mean, you're going to saturate your body over the course of 60 days. By 60 days, your body's completely saturated with it. And I mean, yeah, that's not that expensive.
Not at all. Not at all.
Lyme disease. There's people who have said that they've had Lyme disease. They've seen, and I see a lot of people who tell me that they've seen amazing benefits with this stuff.
Yeah. And arthritis, within 3 to 10 days, their pain goes away.
Yeah.
Really
it's amazing.
And I wouldn't be surprised, just knowing you and what you do there on the homestead, I wouldn't be surprised if you learn how to make this and then start making yourself there.
It's crossed my mind. I'm like, okay, I have a greenhouse. We could like get pools in there. I could grow the algae. I could harvest it. I could get centrifuges to spin it out. I've seen how they do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not that hard. Someone with a little bit of land could do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But now for people that have been diagnosed with cancer or some other later stage disease or serious disease, it's not even an option. It's imperative they do something like this. Would you agree?
Absolutely. They need to do this. I mean, this would be the first thing I would go to if you're looking for alternative treatments. There are some I think are great too to go along with this.
You talk about them in your video, yeah.
Right, because you want those white blood cells. This allows the white blood cells to work, you know, but some people, their white blood cell count is diminished. So there's ways to bump that up and then use this to allow those white blood cells to go to work.
Sure. For me, for years, I tell everybody the blood is the messenger of the body, and that's how we can confirm something's truly working, not just by how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
And the blood, the numbers come down. I don't know if you tested Jamie's numbers after you started taking this and stuff.
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
you see the numbers changing?
Well, we started off, her white blood cell count at the beginning was around a 5 something, which was the low end of normal for her white blood cells. And then we started using the beta glucans and different medicinal mushrooms, and her white blood cell count slowly rose and rose and rose. And her last blood test that she had was around 11 something, which is the high end of normal. And that's when we were seeing a lot of benefit from the Valasta because the white blood cells were going to work. She had a lot of white blood cells, and the PD-1 blocker was allowing them to attack this aggressive cancer.
Sure. Well, again, everybody, I have this, and that's why, I only carry a few amount of products on my site now. I've gotten rid of anything, and I don't have anything I don't personally take or believe in. And I strongly believe in this. And go to rawlife.com. I work directly with the company now, and I interviewed Sam, and I have access to him. If you have any questions and you can't get in touch with him, you can contact me. Zach, I thank you so much. I know you're going through a tough time, but I thank you so much for letting me know, because you really literally, it was almost like right after that you contacted me, you let me know. I just want to let you know, Paul, that we felt this was working. And that's what really made me get right on the phone and get it. Because even though my friend, Dr. Bishy, was telling me about it for over a year, I just didn't have the time, and I was just like everyone else. You know, he told me how great it was. Contact Sam about this product. But then when you told me, the next day I was on the phone with them ordering it. And so it's amazing. And Dr. Bishy's been doing this for 60 years. And so on. So when
he said it was the most effective thing he had ever seen. against cancer, and especially aggressive cancers.
Yeah, and he's 90 years old, and he's been doing this a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have friends now that are dealing with cancer, and I recommended this to them, and praying for them, and so. But we just want to let everybody know this, because in the Bible it talks about the watchman, right? The watchman on the wall, and it says we need to let people know and warn them about when things are going on, and if they choose to follow that, wonderful. But if they don't, at least you did your job and you told them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really truly a blessing, and somebody told us about it, so we have to tell others. So I pray everyone makes a decision and tries it and checks it out.
And it's all natural. It's a plant. It's like you can do this yourself, even if you had the right equipment. You can make this yourself in your basement or in your backyard. In fact, that's how Sam says he got started. He was making it, in his backyard and on his own. It's something that's why would you not?
But don't be deceived. You can get something like this at Walmart or the vitamin shop, and it's not the same thing. The patent that they have and the way they get it in this form, and it is different. And I have other videos on the difference between this one and other ones. So don't be deceived and think, well, I'm taking astaxanthin, and that's what it's called. It's called astaxanthin, and it's. If you want to look it up and see some of their great testimonials, it's spelled, I'll put it below the video, but it's Astaxanthin. And in this bottle, it just comes with some olive oil, and that's what it is. And it's like a gel, and it's very red. And that's, by the way, one of those 5 animals that don't get cancer is a pink flamingo. And this is why they're pink. Basically, you put this in the capsules. You take a couple of pumps, depending on whatever you subscribe to, your body weight or whatever. You open up the capsule that comes with it, and I got a bunch of containers right there, and you put it in the capsule, and that's it, and you swallow it. Now, you don't need to use the capsule. If you want, you could put it on food or whatever, and a smoothie or whatever you want to do. And see, look, it's red, and it's really just a blessing. And so I want to encourage everyone to get this. I'll put the link below. And Zach, thank you for taking time out to let people know about this. And also I'll put a link to Zach's other video of what else worked that he thought was working and what wasn't. And again, there's great testimonials out there for all the things that Zach tried and other people try. And just because it didn't work for him doesn't mean it doesn't work. But I like to hear about personal experiences and testimonies from people I know, and not just companies that might make them up, maybe not, but we know this is a personal testimonial of somebody, a brother that we all know here, and myself, and then other people I know. So prayerfully, this will help you make the right decision and try it out for yourself and your whole family.
I just want to say real quick, thank you for everyone out there in the audience who is keeping our family in prayer during this time. It's been, we can feel that prayer, and so we appreciate that. Okay.
And I'll put Zach's website below the video. It has great videos on biblical topics, but he also has a great channel called American Homestead, which is just really wonderful about, especially at a time now with coronavirus. I just made a video about it. We got to just get away and go live in the middle of nowhere. And that's probably one of the safest places to be right now. You won't see Zach anytime soon walking around with a surgical mask, but you might see me walking around with one. Wait a second, I already have one. It's called a beard, but we'll see. But Zach, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay. Absolutely.
This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up